Hey everyone, this is Fox from Temtris. I'm here with Genevieve, and we're with you tonight talking about our upcoming release, Rewinding Time.
Fantastic, guys. Good to speak to you again.
Good to talk to you too, Chris. Thanks for your time. I hear you're busy flying out, so lucky.
Flying out, then flying back in, then flying out again. Never-ending cycle these days.
Good stuff.
I've got to say, how good is it that you guys can actually hold up the CD and show it? Like, too many people these days are just going digital, but it's old school. You need something tangible, don't you?
It's interesting watching people even chat online about how a lot of the younger bands aren't pressing CDs, and I think I sell out of CDs. Why aren't you pressing CDs? I literally just had to reorder more Chaos Divine albums, which we only released 12 months ago, because I've sold out already.
Wow.
I just ordered it. I don't understand why people don't do hard copies.
Because a lot of people don't promote themselves as well as you guys do, I think. That's probably part of it.
Yeah, I think it's part of, our era of music, you could say, in a way, is a lot to do with, we grew up with records, so the artwork was an important part of the whole experience in opening the records and getting the inner sleeves out. So moving to CDs at the time felt like a bit of a step down, but it still was a physical product that contained the artistic imagery that goes with the whole package. So, and we're a little bit old school in that way. I know modern bands probably access that more through their video content and things like that. But as Jen said, we still take this stuff to shows, and we are still we're still making money and churning out lots of product that way. So it's still valuable for us.
And it might sound stupid, but I think the music loses an essence of its soul when you just get it off the computer. Like, if you're looking at it, you can read through the lyrics, you can see who they're thanking. Like, it's just it's a connection, I guess, rather than just looking at it and listening to it.
It definitely makes the whole package work. Like you say, there's nothing more exciting than getting your CD at the shop or in the mail and opening it and going, looking at the album covers, looking at the band photos inside, connecting those people that, do the parts in the story that goes with the music that's written. So, yeah, it's important for sure.
Well, speaking of albums, the one you have been holding up is your new Best of Rewinding Time, which is out June 28th. So you guys have released a few albums over the years, but is it a different feeling releasing a Best of because the music's already out there?
Yeah.
It's over a 20-year career. It was very interesting, even going back to the early stuff and re-listening to things, and you have that sort of half sort of, oh geez, it was a bit rough back then when we started, and we definitely, you can hear the improvement over the years, as you'd hope to hear, as both the technology and our own skills in production has improved. But it was still go back and listen to the early songs, and it was still difficult thinking which songs we would include, because you go back, you think, well, the production might not be the most amazing compared to modern standards, but the music itself still stands up quite well.
Yeah. Did you ever toy with the idea of re-recording some of those songs and having old songs with a new twist?
We've got 2 of them on there actually have been re-recorded. So yeah.
There's been a little bit of reproduction to try and keep them true to the original, but still balance them out a bit. The second album, Masquerade, probably suffered a little bit from a very harsh production level at the time. So I did a little bit of reworking with not so much the music itself, but just reapplied the mix and moved a few things around to try and get the sounds a bit better.
Yeah. So why are you going back through the tracks and picking which ones to go? Like most bands that put out best of albums, they've got 20 number ones, so they go, yeah, we got to take that, we got to take that. But with you guys, like your core base of fans are great, but you didn't have massive sales and stuff to go off. So what was your parameter for choosing what songs went on there?
I literally went online and asked the fans what they wanted, and I actually had some interesting responses, and it was hard for us to go, okay. We also went off, like, we put The Lies Become the Truth off the last album, even though it wasn't a major single that we did with a film. We did do a lyric video, but not a major film clip with, just because that song, literally every time we play live, goes off. So it was like, this is one of the most loved tracks off that album, so we put it on. And that's how we sort of did that with a lot of those tracks we chose. People went, oh, you've got to have, like, this song kept coming up, like, Millie Forever is a single, but everyone kept saying forever, forever, forever. So we're like, okay, the fans want that, we'll give them that. So that's sort of how we picked, the tracks in the end, I think.
Yeah, there's definitely an element of connection to it. I mean, all the songs that are on this best of compilation, we've had a strong connection with live.
Yeah.
There've been songs that have been, the fans have responded to and requested again and again and again, and still come to shows now and say, oh, when you're putting this song back in the set, because I'd love to hear it live again. I love that song, or that was the first time I heard you guys and I really enjoyed that song. And that speaks to us a lot, and that builds our connection with those particular songs as well. So all of the songs that have gone on to the album have that connection. There's songs where we feel we've connected with the fan base very strongly through this music and this song.
Yeah. How about from a personal level? Like, you'd be going back through some songs that you've probably even forgotten that you'd done in some respect. Like, did you still feel as connected to the older material, I guess, as you did back then?
Look, I still remember, like, even the couple of tracks off Masquerade album, when we recorded them, I was 7 months pregnant.
Oh, wow. Already, eh?
In the studio with this, big belly. And I still remember being in the studio recording and thinking, I'm going to push out a baby if I sing any harder. We did the photo shoot. My daughter was all of a couple of weeks old, and I'm trying to walk around in a corset that I used to wear then and, breastfeed a baby in a corset while we do a photo shoot.
While you're rocking out with the horns.
It definitely brought back some memories about what we went through to, how long we've been going for and what's happened over the 20 years. And two of the tracks on this album actually we re-recorded when Wayne rejoined the band, Wayne Campbell. We went into the studio with Hoff and redid Bullet and Awakening, and they're on this album. We re-recorded them to check out the studio before we recorded our next album. So we've put those re-recorded tracks on because they're off the first album, but they've got that better mix and sound. So they're, you look back at those things and progression in history of what we did and why we did things, and it's pretty cool looking back through everything.
And in keeping with Temtris tradition, like, the artwork on the album is just great, mate. Like it's evil, but it's captivating. Like, where do you come up with the ideas for them from?
That was my idea again. Well, I had the idea of putting all the album covers together, and he comes up with the clever putting it together. So
we've sort of, even from the early days, we had a theme behind it. I mean, we grew up with icons like Eddie and Vic Rattlehead and all that sort of stuff. So you think along those lines, but you don't want to do that. That belongs to our sort of icons of that era we grew up aspiring to. I grew up more hanging around with comic book people and people that were involved in that side of things. So there's always an element of, from my perspective, when we take the ideas, trying to turn them into something that reflects our character. And Temtris, as the character that you see on when she, for want of a better expression, appears on each of the album covers, she's gone through her own personal journey as well.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
So that's a running theme that we have throughout. Sometimes it can be a bit more difficult to tell what she's up to than others, but there's always a background element that we like to talk about. Each one of the album covers has its connection to the overall theme of the album, and it has its own story that goes with it.
Cool. So has she got herself a few greys after 20 years, or is she still looking good?
Well, I mean, if you take Chaos Divine as the last release, she's quite robotic these days.
She's keeping up with the times.
Yeah. Most of the parts have been replaced, a bit like us. It's sort of part.
It's funny, because we knew we had this. We got offered when we went over to Europe last year. We got offered to come back this year to play at Metal Babes Festival, and I said to the guys, we really need we could either record a single and try and just promote that before we go over to promote the tour, or we can, what if we do another album? And we knew it was coming up to that 20 years. So I said to Fox, why don't we just do a best of album for our reason for touring? And then
good idea.
Everyone was like, yeah, that's a great idea, because people want the early songs and we didn't have the CDs available anymore. So this whole theme came up with, okay, let's do a Rewinding Time tour, and then we'll go on, play some of these older songs in our tour in Europe, and when we come back playing Steel Assassins Festival, we'll play a couple of the old tracks on there. And then of course it all grew from there. And then we got the grant as well from Create New South Wales, which has helped pay for the whole thing. So it's even better.
Fantastic. Good on you guys. Reward for effort, I say.
Yeah.
Oh,
Really good.
And you've also got a new line of merch that's coming out too. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we've everybody loves a hoodie.
Of course.
And a t-shirt. So we've done the t-shirts with all the album covers.
Nice.
On all that album cover on the front, and it's actually got on the back of it, it's got all the album releases from the beginning with the year it came out. So
I noticed that. Yeah, that's a really nice touch.
Yeah, so we've got shirts.
Photos on there too. You got like photos from over the band's history too, I noticed.
Well, that's actually in the CD. We wanted it to make it a collector thing. So it's actually got all the album launch photos in there, gigs we've had with friends that have come to shows, all their pictures are in there, everyone's faces, and
I'm not sure how well it'll show up on the camera, but
looks like a big blur.
People will be interested to get in there. These are all photos from live shows.
Wow, that's awesome.
Events and occasions. So people are in there. Fans, you might be in there as well.
Yeah, that's what we want. I wanted to have a photo of the people that have, put them in there as part of the history, because they're in there from the beginning and have made it what it is, so.
You're opening yourself up to potential problems, though. There's old Johnny's going to look at it and he's going to go, "Where am I? How come I'm not in there?"
Fucking can't. I'm meant to be there. I cut my face off.
Oh, shit. And you guys are also off to Europe in September, starting on the 6th in the Netherlands. You go through Belgium, Sweden, Germany, Austria, Czech, Slovenia. On September the 29th, you finish up. Like, decent run of show, guys. Like, congratulations.
Yeah, we're really excited. We like I said, we got the grant from New South Wales, which we weren't expecting. We were already going to go anyway, but then we saw this offer coming up where they're offering grants. We thought we'd apply, which has taken the pressure off. As you know, a lot of bands are cancelling touring at the moment because the cost is just huge. Flights are not cheap anymore, car hire, all that stuff. And someone even wrote on my tour, "Why aren't you playing Sweden?" I said, "Give me a contact." So they did. And then Thomas reached out to me and said, "I'll give you a show." So then we were like, okay, Sweden's added in the date. And
that's awesome.
We've had people wants to play France, but it's logistically fitting everything in.
Yeah.
I know it's not as big as Australia, but at some point you've got to travel from A to B and you actually need to stop and rest as well. So
definitely.
Sleep. So we fit it in as much as we can. There may be a couple more dates added in there from different places. We've got a booker from overseas who's helping me out. So if you can grab a couple more shows, we'll slot them in and announce them a bit closer to the date. We've only really got sort of 10 weeks and we're pretty much got to be packed up and ready to go. So
that's awesome, guys. And just say somebody stumbled across this interview and they're watching it going, "Yeah, these guys sound all right." Like, give us 3 songs off your best of that people should listen to if they know nothing about Temtris to introduce them.
Well, Awakening is the first ever Temtris power metal, traditional metal song.
Yeah. You could steer towards that one. That's pretty true and honest. You'd be looking at tracks like Lies Become the Truth. You'd be looking at Forever. And then you would probably go back into the back catalogue, and depending on where your sort of musical tastes lie, because we tend to write more to the music than stick to a particular style. So there's a real sort of diversity as you go further back. If I just take the 2 examples that are on the best of from the Shallow Grave era, one is Shallow Grave, which is quite a doomy start, anthemic sort of song. It's got the epic sort of feel to it. And back to back with that, we put Your Time Has Come, which is how do you describe that? It's short, sharp. It's very rhythm and groove driven. Even a little bit more sort of new metalish in its styling. So distinctly different tracks. And you'd have to sort of, I would encourage people to sort of dig around in the back catalogue a bit until you found that level of Temtris that matched your likes and what you like to hear.
Fair enough. You didn't answer my question at all, but I get where you're coming from. All right, guys. Well, thanks for your time. It's been a pleasure. The album Rewinding Time is out June 28th, and everything Temtris has ever put out is quality. So you get the whole lot of quality in one hit. So well done.
Yep. Shoot us a message if you want a copy. Hit up the Temtris page. The Temtris, we'll have it up on the website to order from. or you can hit me up and I'll organise it for you and post you one out.